Okay, okay, and we're live. I need to change my information because I'm not playing games today. I need to change my. Okay, it's actually an Austin movie stream. This is an emergency Austin movie stream. Okay, so we got that. I'm not playing a game. I'm doing just chatting. Yep, because we're gonna be discussing movies, everybody. Um, so hold your horses. Is evil on the attack? Oh, Jotnamus, I'm very happy to see you right now. Um, enjoy a steamroll for the moment. I am just changing my stream information for. Oh, I'm very happy to see you. Like, I just love how I like just randomly went live and it's just like, yes, you actually showed up, just out of nowhere. Lovely. Okay, so I um, have something very. Whew, I've been fooled. What? No. Um, fooled by what? What do you mean? Okay, no. So here's what we're talking about today. We're talking about we're doing an Austin movie stream. We're going to talk about movies again because I haven't done that in a while. I've been wanting to talk about a bunch of movies this year, but oh, this year's been a fucking nightmare and a half. Like it's been such a roller coaster, and like every time I've been wanting to talk about movies and stuff. Like I want to talk about Super Mario and I want to talk about Barbenheimer, which I will do those eventually because there's still stuff to say about them. But like, ugh, just so much bullshit in my life kept getting in my way. And it still is. But today is a special exception because last night I went to go see Expendables 4. Okay? Now, here I am on YouTube, and the first fucking thing that I see right here is the Critical Drinker saying that the Expendables 4 is an embarrassing wet fart. I'm sorry, did we see the same movie? And not only that, this isn't the only guy, okay? So I'm gonna open this in another tab. Oh Jesus, YouTube, don't fuck with me right now. Because
No,
not yet. Not yet. We'll get to you. We'll get to you. I got shit to say about you, dude. Oh, and trust me, Jot and friends, whoever else decides to show up for this wonderful time. Um, I have a bone to pick with just YouTube movie critics in general. Okay, okay. Like this has officially gotten out of hand. So, um, I got this one right here. I think I just watched the worst movie of 2023. What Expendables 4, one of the worst. I'm pulling all these motherfuckers up because
it's
fuck.
his face.
Oh, 50 Cent. We'll get to him. Yes, 50 Cent's in the movie. Okay. Um, just out of curiosity, Jot, have you watched any of these expendable movies or any action movies in general? Like, I don't even know if you're into that sort of thing or not. Because if you're not, cool. I'm good either way. I'm just curious for context. Okay, I also need to say that I'm live, so I'm gonna do that real quick. Um, special Austin movies stream for Expendables. Yep, and then my Twitch link. Fucking. Okay, there we go. That's what I wanted. Yep, I'm going live, baby. All right. I'm not gonna. Yeah, never, ever. Okay. So if anything, I'm definitely gonna give like a primer, um, on the Expendable movie franchise as a whole, right? Um, before I go into these reviews, just to give some slight context, for anybody that's not in the know, such as yourself. Real easy. So, Expendables movies. All right. So, you got the Expendables, Expendables 2, Expendables 3, and then this new one, Expendables 4. So, the whole point of this series is it's pretty much all spearheaded by Sylvester Stallone. I'm Judge Dredd, the Demolition Man. So, whether you're a fan of Sylvester Stallone or not, that's going to determine if you're going to be into these movies or not. Because all of these are essentially the all-star league of dumb action movies where he gets all of the best action stars together, whether they're old or new, into this movie. The first Expendables, just look at the poster here. Look at the poster. Okay, so crap quality because it's on Wikipedia, but Sylvester Stallone's the main character, right? His name's Barney Ross. It's all a team of mercenaries, and they go after just random, mercenary missions throughout the world. Whether it's the first one they're overthrowing a dictator. The second one they're liberating this village from Jean-Claude Van Damme, essentially. The third one, Mel Gibson's fucking around and they're capturing some nuclear oil facility. I don't remember. And then the fourth one is just a whole different thing. We got an ad real quick. I will continue on in just a moment. Yay, ads, LOL. If anything, I'll use this time to just get my thoughts together here and other resources. Yeah. Okay. Right. Okay, cool. Love to see that. Okay. I'll use this time to also do some Discord promotion, because why the fuck not? Yeah. So yeah, guess what? I'm busy. LOL. Wonder if any of my friends here are gonna show up. That'd be very nice. Pour myself out. Yeah. I'm the only one who uses these links. That's amazing. Right then, you. Yes, definitely want to do that. Wait, what? What? Oh, why not? Okay, that's fine. That's fine. I'll live. Fuck, dude. Yes, shameless indeed. Yep. It's promote here and okay. Are the ads gone? No more ads? Okay, great. So I will get back to my ranting in just a moment, because fuck these ads. Totally ruined my fucking mojo here. So, here's the cast list for the first Expendables movie. Just the first one. So we got Sylvester Stallone, Barney Ross, Jason Statham. I love this guy. Fast and the Furious, Hobbs and Shaw, Transporter, Crank movies, The Meg. Yeah, Jason Statham. I'm a huge fan. I fucking love him. Jet Li, martial arts guy, great. Dolph Lundgren, he's mostly known for being Ivan Drago from Rocky. But he's been in other action movies and stuff too. But Ivan Drago. Eric Roberts. This is actually Julia Roberts' brother. For those that don't know, he's one of the villains in the movie, I think. Randy Couture. He's a UFC fighter. Former UFC, I think. He's in the movie. Former United States Army Sergeant, former mixed martial artist, and former collegiate. Yeah, he was UFC heavyweight champion. Fuck yeah, this guy. Randy Couture. And then Stone Cold Steve Austin was in this movie. Fuck yeah. Austin 316. And then you got David Zayas. He was in Dexter. He also plays one of the villains too, General Garza. Um, and then Charisma Carpenter. She's the lovely lady. And then Terry Crews. Fuck yeah, love him. I'm sad that he was only in the first one. Dude, Terry Crews, come back. What are you doing, man? And then Mickey Rourke. He was in this movie too, and he was a cool character in this movie, but he was only in this one. And I'm like, why? And then you have Bruce Willis in this movie. Now, with Bruce Willis, he's been amazing for the most part, but unfortunately, he's recently suffered from some major like debilitating illness of some kind. Like I forget what it's called, but essentially, like he just cannot even function anymore. Like period. Like he couldn't even like trust me, like whatever the condition is, like if you don't know, look it up. It's fucked up, and Bruce Willis does not deserve that. But it is what it is, and his wife is taking care of it. His wife and family are taking care of it as best as possible to hopefully keep him alive as much as possible through his current state. So much love to Bruce Willis and his family. I hope you get through whatever that is somehow. I wish I knew, but whatever. That's totally off topic. And then Arnold Schwarzenegger. Okay, I'm surprised he's listed here because I don't remember him being in the first movie. He was definitely in the second one. Absolutely. So that's the first movie, right? And then the second movie, the cast list is even more insane. Uncredited cameo. Well, okay, get the second movie though. Now, the second movie is my favorite movie in the franchise. And the fourth one, even though all these people are shitting on it, as I'm about to demonstrate in a little bit, I fucking love the fourth one, okay? Like, I think the fourth one is comparable to the first one as far as, like, the level of quality is concerned. There are issues, but I feel like a lot of these fucking nerds are being way too goddamn harsh on it, but that's just me. Okay, where the fuck is the cast list? Am I stupid? Here we go. Okay, cast. Okay, so most of the same people from the first movie returned for the second one. So we got Sylvester Stallone, Jason Statham, Jet Li, Dolph Lundgren, and then Chuck Norris shows up. Chuck Norris shows up for the second movie. And this is like, extreme action movie craziness, right? Now, going from the first movie to the second movie, the first movie is rated R and was gory as fuck in the best way. The second movie was PG-13, so unfortunately the gore aspect went away, which made me sad, but at the same time they wanted to be able to get more, butts in the seats, as far as like tickets are concerned. So I actually understand the move. And honestly, like the movie like didn't suffer for it like most people would think it would. Because, like I said, the second one's my favorite. So what do I know? No. So, like I said, Chuck Norris shows up. Chuck Norris shows up, and I fucking love it when Chuck Norris shows up. Terry Crews is back. Randy Couture, Liam Hemsworth, he shows up. Now, you would think that, like, well, why not Chris Hemsworth? He was busy being fucking Thor, okay? So, get his brother in. Like, he was in Hunger Games and other movies. He dated Miley Cyrus. Why the fuck not? And you know what? He was fine. He was fine in the movie. I didn't have a problem with him. And then Scott Adkins. If you don't know who Scott Adkins is, he's like a British actor, film producer, and martial artist. He's best known for his role as the Russian prison fighter Yuri Barka in Undisputed franchise. He's also known for being like a stuntman and like doing a lot of like major stunts for a lot of these action movies. And he's a big badass motherfucker. Love Scott Adkins. And then I don't remember who you are. And then Jean-Claude Van Damme is named Villain. So he's the villain named Villain. I mean, that's some over the top nonsense. Like that's Expendables too. Like fuck yeah, bro. Like I'm so glad that he got to be the villain. Like that's just so fun. And he had a blast with it. All right. And then Bruce Willis comes back, and then Arnold Schwarzenegger is in this movie. And let me put it this way. Like not necessarily like to give like spoilers for the movie per se, but when it comes to Bruce Willis and Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sylvester Stallone all being in the same movie together, that's already fucking insane. And in the oh, okay, in the first movie there was one scene where all three of them were together. That's right. I remember now. I remember. But then the second movie, not only are they all together, but they're like multiple scenes where they're all fighting together, and it's fucking epic and cheesy and dumb. Dumb, dumb, dumb. In the best, like, extreme, lovely camp. Okay? Like, that's another thing to keep in mind, too. Like, all these expendable movies, like, you take none of them seriously. None of them. Okay? Because if you take them seriously, you're doing it wrong. Okay, they're all dumb, silly action movies, and they're meant to be fun, and everybody's having fun. And if you're not having fun, then you're get out of here. What are you doing? Right? um, so cool. All right. Um, so, whoa. Oh, I didn't know this. Charlie Sheen was apparently reported to be in consideration for the role of a CIA agent hunting down Willis's Mr. Church. And then Donnie Yen was also offered a role. He declined because he did not find it intriguing. Oh, Donnie, you're so wrong about that. Oh, well. All right. Steve Austin would reprise his role as the villain. Okay. It talks with Nicolas Cage and John Travolta, and scheduling would be the only obstacle to be their involvement. And Mickey Rourke was stated to be reprising his roles too. By late September, it was reported they had dropped out of the film. Okay, that's a shame. Antonio Banderas was offered a role, but was able to participate due to other commitments. Okay, fair enough. And Jackie Chan's been offered roles multiple times in this series, but was forced to turn it down due to scheduling conflicts. And I'm just like, oh man, come on, like make room for Expendables, guys. Yeah. So it's like essentially like Sylvester Stallone is just trying to get as many of these like awesome like action actors as he can in these movies. And if they say no, it's usually because of scheduling conflicts, usually. Or they think it's stupid. Like, I think Donnie Yen thought it was stupid. It's just like, didn't find it intriguing. He's just kind of like, oh, it's just dumb, And he's an amazing martial artist. If you don't know who Donnie Yen is, check him out. He's fucking great. Okay, anyway. So, and then Expendables 3, more of the same. And the standouts in this one, compared to the other movies, Wesley Snipes shows up. Antonio Banderas shows up in this one, so work that one out. Kellen Lutz, I kind of recognize the name. Ronda Rousey shows up. Fuck yeah. And then Mel Gibson plays the villain, and Harrison Ford shows up. So yeah, like that. That's like, the joke you can make with this movie where it's just kind of like, and then Han Solo shows up, and then Mel Gibson shows up, and then Terry Crews shows up. So it's just like, yeah, like when they get all these people together and they all say yes to the movie, that's when you know you're doing it right, right? Now, as far as like the expectation, so, oh, whoops. I shouldn't have closed that. What am I doing? Now, Expendables 4, right? Now, Expendables 4 has been in the works for a long time. And this Expendables 3 came out in 2014, so that was almost 10 years ago, right? So, I don't think it did that great in the box office. Like, I think it was just okay. So, they, kind of like, when it came to the fourth one, they kind of sat on it for a while. And you know what? The idea that people think that, like, oh, they need to come out with these movies every year, every single time, blah, blah, blah. It's just like, you know what? I'm okay with them taking 10 years to figure out, like, if they want to make a sequel good or not. Fuck those people who are just kind of like, why did it take them 10 years to make it? You fucking babies. You absolute entitled pieces of dog shit. Like, let them cook. Let them take their time. Stop being fucking greedy consumerist pricks about it. My God, the entitlement of some of these fucking people in their goddamn movies. Like, if anything, I'm glad they took their time with it because I'm probably the only one who fucking loves this movie. Now, also let's look at the poster. Okay. Now, I think this poster looks fucking awesome, first of all. Like, the colors on that, ooh, gorgeous. Now, one thing you will notice, compared to the third movie poster that we just saw, there's like half the people. So I can see why people are like, what the fuck, right? But at the same time, there's also the people that complain it's just like, there's too many characters. Do you fucking idiots know what you even want? Like, hey, they finally gave you less characters in the movie, quote unquote. But now you're just kind of like, oh, it didn't have the characters I want. God, eat my shit and die from it. Like, seriously. Like, anybody who says that. And you will see. Like, I pulled up a couple of reviews, right? And, like, they say the same bullshit. And once you hear it, you can't unhear it. And you'll be like, whoa, Austin cracked the code on these idiots. And I'm just like, yeah, and I hate myself for it. But, you know, hey, don't be these idiots, okay? Like, if you like movies, just go to the movie theater and just enjoy it. Don't think about it, okay? Like, not even like turn your brain off. It's about like, hey, just go in expecting to have fun, okay? Because movies are supposed to be fun, all right? You don't need to analyze every single fucking nitpicky thing in the fucking movie when you're watching the movie, because at that point you're not having fun anymore. You're making it work. You idiots. Like, have you ever had fun before? Like, I used to. Like, fun's great, isn't it? You know, it's like the internet was just kind of like, oh, I need to stop people from seeing this horrible movie. It's the worst movie I've ever seen. And just kind of like, do you guys even know what this movie is? Like, to be fair, like, yeah, it was 10 years ago. The last one's, like, you know, came out. So you probably forgot, like, what this series is supposed to feel like, right? So, fuck me, huh? So, anyway, so we got Statham and Stallone. Now, as long as you got these two, they're the main characters, okay? And trust me, when I get into how this movie operates, you know, you'll understand why this is a good thing, okay? And then you got 50 Cent, you got Megan Fox, all right? You got Dolph Lundgren's back. And then you got Tony Jaa. Now, most people probably don't know who Tony Jaa is, but I do, and I love him. And then you got Uwais. Who's that? Okay, his name is Iko Uwais, and he's actually known for being, I think, one of the main stars in the Raid movies. There's the Raid, and the Raid Redemption, I think. Like, there's the Raid movies, and he's great. Yeah, I didn't really know him by name, but I definitely know him by his movies. So cool. And then Randy Couture's back, and then with Garcia, that's Andy Garcia. I haven't seen Andy Garcia in a while, but he's in this movie and he's fun. Um, and I'll get into that, you know, when I actually talk about the details of the movie itself. If anything, I don't want to. One moment. One second. Okay, perfect. My buddy Lee just reached out to me. Excellent. Hi, Lee. Right. So, anyway, and also, like, the whole point of this movie is that old blood meets new blood. So, what they're trying to do is that, in case it wasn't abundantly clear, Sylvester Stallone is getting old. Okay? If you didn't know how old Sylvester Stallone is, he's 77 years old. And at this age, he's still making action movies like this. Like, yo, awesome, right? Oh, boy. And, like, the amount of disrespect that people are having when it comes to, like, him still trying to lead the charge with this franchise, like his baby, more or less. And don't get me wrong, it's not like Shakespeare, but as far as, like, just the idea of, like, getting all the action stars together and making fun action movies with them, pretty fucking awesome, okay? Like, for what they are, I love the shit out of him. Like, mad respect. But, as you'll see, when it comes to some of these reviews of what people are saying about this thing, just listen. By the way, I'm just based on the title alone and based on what I know about this guy, instant dislike. Get fucked. Like first, I don't even have to listen to opinion just to do that, but we're gonna listen anyway. Let's see what the critical drinker has to say about this.
Anyone who knows me will tell you that I've always had a soft spot for big, bombastic 1980s action flicks. When I was a kid, larger-than-life stars like Stallone, Schwarzenegger, Willis, and to a lesser extent Van Damme were the personification of everything that was, is, or ever could be awesome. And so the Expendables franchise was really a no-brainer for a guy like me. Take a bunch of aging action stars from a bygone era, give them enough guns and ammo to invade a small African country, and turn them loose in a series of improbable adventures against an array of terrorists, corrupt government officials, and evil mercenaries, all determined to bring about global destruction for a variety of poorly explained reasons. The series was intended as a glorious throwback to the old school action flicks that guys like me grew up with, and there was real enjoyment to be found in seeing these titans of the movie industry joining forces at last, trading quips and kicking ass together. Yeah, it was dumb and completely implausible, but who cares? That was part of the fun. The series kind of burned out with the Expendables 3, which felt rushed and sloppy despite its star-studded cast, and when...
It's funny because, like, I'm actually agreeing, like, so far all of what he's saying, like, this all makes sense. So what happened then? Oh boy, I'm really confused now. What the fuck? Oh. Nope. Don't send me that. Okay, anyways, no distractions.
Stallone bailed out of the sequel due to creative differences, it seemed like the end of the road for the Expendables. And to be honest with you, I was fine with that. After 3 movies, they'd done everything they could do with the concept, and basically...
Nope. You're wrong about that. Done everything they could do with the concept. Anybody who thinks that with anything, you know, that's called limiting belief. Okay, you could do anything with any concept ever. Doesn't mean it's gonna be good, but creatively speaking, like any idea is possible. So stop saying shit like that. Okay, now don't get me wrong. Like, yeah, like if they were to have just gone out on 3 movies, I would have been totally fine with that. But I already knew that they were working on this movie anyway, so I was expecting it. So, sucks to be you, I guess. Gee, you're probably just gonna be like, oh, I'm so burnt out. Actually, just a moment, I'll be right back. I'm just gonna get some water. Just some water. Yeah, because I kind of need to hydrate for me ranting at these fucking people. Yeah, like... Alright, anyway. Let's continue.
Run out of old action stars to resurrect. But hey, never let an idea go to waste when there's a few more dollars that can be squeezed out of it. So here we are, almost 10 years later, reuniting what's left of the gang with Expendables 4. Or Expend-4bles. Seriously, fuck off with these stupid gimmicky names. Fant Four-Stick, anyone?
Now, I will say... I will gladly say that as far as like doing that for the title, yeah, it is corny. It's, you know, elite speak, right? But it doesn't trigger me to the point of fucking vomit. Okay? How about you guys relax? Relax, okay? Like, it's fun. Just have fun with it. Okay? Jesus. Like, it's not the end of the world if you use a 4 for an A. You fucking nerds.
Nah, whatever. In the same way that you feel
vomit.
oddly compelled to look at a road traffic accident as you drive past, knowing the police will never be able to pin it on you as long as you can get your car to a body shop that takes cash and doesn't ask too many questions, I felt like I owed it to childhood drinker to go and see this movie. But good lord, I truly wish I hadn't. Expendables 4 feels like the crusty remnants of some old rock band making an ill-advised comeback for one last tour that nobody asked for, with half of the original lineup missing and a bunch of talentless newbies filling in for them. Everything about this movie just feels off. Like if this had been made in the 1990s, it would have been some low budget direct to video sequel to a much bigger theatrical release that didn't do quite as well as the studio had hoped. Nobody's heart really seems to be in this one. It looks cheap as fuck. The dialogue.
Okay, okay, okay. Then all of a sudden, the shit starts flying in. Let's rewind a little bit. Like, hold on a second.
Like if this had been made in the 1990s that nobody asked for, with half wish I hadn't. Expendables 4. But good lord, I truly wish I hadn't.
Okay. So pretty much once the whole Nicolas Cage rage comes up, it's just kind of like, you know what? I'm going into rage mode now. Where it's just kind of like, oh, I wish I hadn't seen the movie. Like, it wasn't that bad. What the fuck are you all on about? You know what? I have a theory, but I'll get to that, in a moment.
Expendables 4 feels like the crusty remnants of some old rock band making an ill-advised comeback for one last tour that nobody asked for, with half of the original lineup missing.
That nobody asked for. Fuck you. I mean, a lot of people were excited when they initially announced it. Like, I think it was like, maybe 2016 or something like that. Like, nobody asked for it. Maybe you didn't ask for it. I don't fucking know. Whatever, man.
And a bunch of talentless newbies filling in for them. Everything about this movie just feels off. Like if this had been made in the 1990s, it would have been some low budget direct to video sequel to a much bigger theatrical release that didn't do quite as well as the studio had hoped.
That's too fucking harsh. Fuck yourself. There was definitely much more budget than that put into this movie, okay? This is not some direct-to-video shit. This is not Steven Seagal fucking slumming it. Fuck off. Now, that actually would be funny if Steven Seagal was cast in this one, but fuck that. They'll probably never work with him. Because he's a massive dickhead. As far as I know.
His heart really seems to be in this one.
Okay, they say that nobody's heart really seems to be in this one. They're so wrong about that. If anything, this movie has way more, like, story compared to the other movies. Like, the other movies were just all dumb all the time. Like, this movie, like, when it came to how they strung the plot together and how they kind of, like, kept the character scope lower, like, I felt like they cared more. I don't know what sort of heart gauge you guys fucking have, or maybe you just have a complete lack of empathy, or maybe you're just drunk as fuck when you watch all this fucking shit. I mean, you are called the critical drinker after all, right? So, I liked you at first, dude, but as the layers started slowly peeling away with each of your movie reviews, like, trust me, if you guys watch more of his movie reviews, you kind of realize that he has a sort of a shtick when it comes to, like, how he fucking riffs and shits on movies. It gets surprisingly repetitive really fast. Like, especially, like, when he uses, like, vomit jokes and shit like that. Like, yeah, it's like, oh, this made me barf. Oh, this made me fucking want to go bang a hooker down in the other. Like, it gets really fucking tiresome really fast. I'm just kind of like, do you have an actual opinion on this movie? Or are you just trying to, like, get fucking clicks? Right? Nobody's heart was in it. Yeah, they were. You just don't give a fuck. Or, like, you just have no respect for these people as, working, movie makers and shit. If you think you could do so much better, why don't you try making a movie? Oh, no, I can't. I'm a critic. It's like, yeah, you are. And, enjoy your fucking armchair quarterbacking, dude.
It looks cheap as fuck. The dialogue has no energy or excitement to it.
Wrong.
The action scenes somehow manage to be ludicrous and boring at the same time.
Ludicrous and boring? More like ludicrous and fun as fuck. And especially because they brought the gore back from the first movie. So I was just like, oh, fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. That's more like it. Now, I will say, as far as, like, when he said it looked cheap as fuck, he was speaking to the special effects, like, the visual effects, the CGI and all the stuff that's used in the movie. Now, here's the thing about that: like CGI is expensive, and we also went through the pandemic in the development of this movie, and also we went through like we're going through writer strikes and stuff right now. So I don't necessarily know if that affected this production per se, but if it did, yeah, of course it's gonna affect the fucking budgets and the effects and all that kind of shit. Now, if anything, they did have 10 years to quote unquote make it right, but at the same time, like what was it really 10 years of development as far as like the actual like movie itself, or was it 10 years in like pre-planning? Or there's a whole assembly line process to making this shit, guys. Okay, you can't just be all like, it looks cheap as fuck when they just so happen to have an effect that just they didn't quite stick the landing with it, and like it unfortunately doesn't look real. Do you know what movie you're watching? You're watching The Expendables. This isn't fucking high art. This isn't fucking this isn't Marvel. This isn't fucking this isn't like Drive or any other like high-end action movies. This is just fun, ludicrous B-movie fun goodness. Okay? Like, I feel like people's expectations for this are way too fucking high for what they're just doing with this movie. And I don't think they realize, like, how a lot of the budgets are probably going to the casting of the stars themselves, as opposed to, like the actual effects in the movies, or like the, putting more effort in the plot and stuff. Like, I don't remember who broke it down for me, but it's essentially the idea of like whenever you have certain genres of movies, they're always going to have like a specific focus or a priority as far as to what they make the best part of the movie. So like action movies, it's like the action scenes, right? All the fucking kick-ass fighting and punching and shit. Like that's the priority. Like acting, you're not gonna get Shakespearean dialogue out of these guys. Fuck no. If anything, people make very many jokes at these guys' expense when it comes to that shit. But then they keep not realizing what fucking movie this is. So fuck off. Okay, here's another ad break. That'll give me some time to just breathe for a second. Breathe. My eyeballs. Ooh. Now drink some water. Yeah, because if anything, I'm not done. There's still plenty of fucking terrible reviews to go. If anything. Ooh, actually, yeah. Let's do some more googling. Spend a weekend box office. Hold on. All right, we're back, I guess. Okay. Okay. Oh, I see. Okay, I got confused for a second. Yeah, interesting. Okay. Oh, this is funny. All right, so let's go back to this review, and then I found some other stuff to talk about in a little bit. So, um, yeah.
And everyone involved gives off this weirdly tired, disinterested vibe, like they already
Wrong.
knew the kind of shit they were making and just
Wrong.
wanted to get it over with so they could collect their paychecks and go
Wrong.
home. If this is meant to be.
Why do people keep thinking that about actors? Like, that is such a tired fucking, like, oh, these actors just wanted a paycheck. Oh, they just didn't give a shit. They just wanted to go home. Now, I can understand that, like, sometimes with actor portrayals, like, people might come off that way sometimes. But as far as everybody in this movie, I didn't get that vibe at all. I got the vibe where pretty much everybody was like having fun, okay, and it was not like top tier drama Shakespearean acting, not by any stretch, no. But as far as the energy that's concerned, as far as like what I expect out of these characters and whatnot, I more or less got what I expected. And if I were to pick the worst actors in the movie, um, they might talk about them later. But as far as like the majority of the actors, like they pretty much just did what was expected of them, and it seemed like they were having fun to me. So I don't know where the fuck you're getting that from. You're full of shit.
Be the final movie in the franchise, which it almost certainly will be considering its disastrous box office run, then it's a real wet fart of a climax that even Tatiana would be embarrassed by. And believe me, she's experienced many wet fart climaxes. The movie once again
Real mature. Yep. So that's why you get a guy like this, critical drinker. Yep. It's like, almost always making stripper jokes and stuff like that, where it's just like, the Tatiana, the wet fart jokes, And it's just kind of like, what does that have to do with this movie? Okay. Like, and you're just, trying to find all the different ways that you could compare this to a pile of shit. And I'm just kind of like, dude, what are you on? Like, I think you're just drinking so much that every movie is shit to you now. Like, you essentially turned yourself into fucking Stan from South Park when, they did the whole, like, you're getting older episode. It's like, everything looks and sounds like shit to you now because, you're just a cynical asshole. Like, that's what all these people are. Okay? The end.
picks up with Barney Ross and Lee Christmas, played by a Stallone and Statham who look like they desperately want to be somewhere else. The boys get recruited by shady CIA man Marsh for a mission in Libya. Their objective is to stop evil mercenary guy from stealing a bunch of nuclear warheads from an old weapons plant while he's in the process of stealing them. I kid you not, in the time it takes Statham and Stallone to gather their team, brief them on the plan, fly from America to North Africa and get out to the weapons plant, the assault to capture the place is still underway. Oh my goodness, you totally can't tell that this whole section was written later and awkwardly shoved into the existing scripts. Those Hollywood screenwriters really are worth every penny. Anyway, the mission goes
what a dick. It's like, oh, all these writers on strike. They clearly put all the effort in. Wow. Yeah, you have no idea. Like, you just have no respect for, like, writers, actors, just all these people that make movies and stuff for you. It feels like you just hold them in contempt for the most part, okay? Like, I know you have movies that you like and there are movies that you give praise to, but, like, you need to be nicer to movies that are, like, mediocre or what you consider bad. Like, trust me, there are plenty of movies out there that deserve to be fucking riffed on. And that deserve to be called, like, fucking horrible and, like, waste of time and, like, pieces of shit. But this ain't it, Chief. Fuck no. This movie's fucking fun, and you all need to stop shitting on it.
tits up faster than a Kirkcaldy girl after 2 cans of white lightning, and Barney ends up getting killed when his plane crashes. Oh no, can you believe that he's dead and gone forever and totally won't make a miraculous appearance at the climax of the movie? What a crushing blow. Bullshit! Anyway, a new team is
I would love to go into detail about why that whole bit was fucking annoying, but I'm not going to do that because that goes into major plot spoiler details.
Is quickly assembled to go after the mercenaries, led by a very plastic-looking Megan Fox, who for some reason thinks she can do action movies, and accompanied by
What was Megan Fox famous for? The Transformers movies. Technically, that's an action movie. Okay. Now, she also did this other action movie called Rogue, which nobody saw it because, for all I know, it was either a straight-to-DVD movie or just a movie that nobody fucking heard of. She played a mercenary in that movie. Now, that movie was not good. I would not... Like, I own that movie, and I acknowledge that it's not good. This movie is substantially better than that one. If anything, if you were to go and shit on that movie, that would make more sense. Especially because that movie is directed by the guy who did the freaking like Silent Hill 2 movie, and that movie is a pile of shit. Ugh, like, yeah, gross. Um, but this movie's like Citizen Kane compared to all that shit. Like, holy god, man. You know, like when it comes to the scaling of when it comes to all these critics that watch these movies all the time, like I feel like they're just so saturated with bullshit that like it just bleeds into everything that they see. So it's just kind of like, you know, whenever like some movie just doesn't meet the expectations or demand, like this movie just kind of feels like it's being dogpiled on right now, and it doesn't deserve it, not by a long shot. So if anything, there is going to be a silver lining after we're done hearing this guy's ramblings.
Marsh, who's there to make sure that they don't fail a second time. So, like, is it Marsh that's calling the shots here, or Plastic Fox? Ah, who even cares? So the gang all head out to.
By the way, Megan Fox, she was fucking great in the movie. Like, she was gorgeous, and she was fun, and she kicked ass. So shut up. Have some respect. Like, she's not the greatest actress in the world, but she was fun. And she's always has been fun. Like, you know, Jennifer's Body, she was fun in that. Okay. Um, you know, fucking the Transformers movies, I mean, she was in them for a reason. Again, not like Shakespearean acting, but like just being there, being gorgeous, and just being, you know, like what she needed to be. Like, she more or less fit the bill. And she's definitely gotten better over time, but you're just like, you know, oh, well, past Megan Fox has been dog shit to me, so she's still dog shit, and I won't give her a chance. Fuck off with that. Have respect for actors, right? Like, imagine if you, the critical drinker, like you actually got into Hollywood, like they wanted you to be in a movie, but then everybody thought you were shit all the time. Like you just watched reviews of yourself, you know, it's just like, oh, that critical drinker, like he was in this movie, you fucking sucked. Like, and then like people just kept saying that about you over and over and over again. No matter how many times like you tried to get better, like you did some like fucking martial arts training in that fucking John Wick camp or something to like be in a kick-ass action movie, and they thought like, oh man, he was like drunk the whole time and he just like was so wooden. It seemed like he didn't even want to be there. It's like, no man, I wanted to be there, I was fucking awesome, right? How's that feel? Right? You probably didn't even think about that because, you know, you're just too busy drinking and hanging out with the stripper friends, right? With your wet farts or whatever. I don't know.
To a cargo ship which the mercs are planning to self-destruct near the Russian coastline and trigger World War III, but oh no, they all get captured without a shot getting fired, because that's totally how the Expendables roll now, and it's left up to Statham to make his way on board, rescue the gang, take down the villains, and stop the nuke from going off. Cue about 30 minutes of uninspired action sequences, not so shocking betrayals that anyone with more brain cells than your average YouTube reaction channel would have seen coming from 10 miles away, frequent jump cuts to hide the use of stuntmen, dialogue so cliched and wooden that it makes The Room look like Pulp Fiction, and last minute rescues that surprise absolutely no one.
Makes The Room look like Pulp Fiction. Fuck no, dude. Like, don't get me wrong. This movie is not perfect. It's not supposed to be. Okay? If you're expecting perfection from the fucking Expendables of all movies, I mean, there's plenty of the scenes that you saw right there where it's just like, okay, like, you know, there's some ridiculous action going on. There was some CGI that wasn't perfect. But for me, it didn't fucking break the game, right? It was just like, okay, it's serviceable. Like, it gets like it, you know, at worst a C minus, right? Like, there was definitely no effects in the movie that like got like a straight up F. Like, I think the worst effects I saw were like there's just like, some scenes with like green screen that were pretty bad. So like those could have been composited better. So those would probably get like a D minus. But you know, that's the other thing when it comes to visual effects. Okay, like they're trying to put all the CGI through a pipeline through either one studio or various studios, depending on like what effects need to be done, and all these people that work on these scenes, like they have, you know, project managers that keep, you know, spreadsheets of all the shots that they need to do for these movies, and whatever budget is allowed for them putting all the time and effort into polishing all these effects for the movie. That's, you know, how long it takes. And then, you know, if things go wrong in that process, they have to prioritize, or it's just like, okay, this doesn't look very good, so we'll kind of put that on the shelf for now, but we'll work on this for now. And then like if that one scene that's like all janky still, like they still can't quite crack it, they're gonna do as best as they can with it, with the money allotted, and then it's just kind of like, well, you know, we didn't get it A plus, but we got it as good as we could get it, so here you go. And then, you know, if the if the directors of the movie or producers or whatever, if they go to the point where they get all the shots in the CGI and they think it's good enough, we'll work with it. Then great. You know, if anything, like I don't imagine Sylvester Stallone has like the most insane eye for CGI, but if you ask me, compared to the other movies, like this movie actually looked fairly good. Okay, like good in the sense that like with more like modern like 2023 like camera equipment and stuff like that compared to 10 years ago, like they made the movie look pretty good considering. If anything, you know, what might actually be happening too is that the camera quality might be so good that the CGI flaws might be more apparent to these people that have more of a keen eye to it. That would actually make a lot of sense. So a lot of these people that like see these movies all the time, you know, like because they like constantly go to the movies and they're constantly like seeing either like a bunch of action or CGI or whatever, and like you know they see bad CGI all the fucking time. Um, but then, you know, regular people like myself who only watch movies like, you know, as far as in the theater, like we only can see them when we see them. Like we're not doing it on a daily or weekly basis, you know, we're just kind of doing it just like maybe monthly or bi-monthly. And then it's like movies at home, whole other story. Um, so it's like, it's so funny how these fucking dickheads, they constantly fucking shit on the fucking CGI and visual effects. And I'm just like, you motherfuckers have no idea how hard this shit is, how it works, and why it costs so much to do it. Like, if anything, there's going to be one guy that I'll talk about later that is like the exact counterpoint to all this nonsense. And I want to give an absolute shout out to him because he fucking deserves it and he rules. But I'll talk about him later. Right now, we're going to finish up with the fucking critical drinker. Fuck him.
One, because we all knew they wouldn't have the balls to kill off any major characters. Like I said earlier, there's something decidedly off-kilter about Expendables 4, from the
Wrong.
cheap and sloppy production design to the lackluster performances to the truncated cast. Arnold, Terry Crews and Jet Li are all gone now, and while some of them only had limited roles before, their complete absence here leaves a gaping hole that the rest of the cast struggle to fill. I mean, let's be honest here, I don't think many people are gonna rush out to see Randy Couture or Dolph Lundgren these days, and the new replacements are even worse. 50 Cent fucking sleepwalks his way through the movie looking like he's got no clue what he's supposed to be doing or why. He's got absolutely no chemistry with the rest of the cast, the script gives him nothing meaningful to do, and most of the time he feels like a complete fifth wheel. Megan Fox is
I completely disagree with most of that assessment. As far as like 50 Cent's placement in the movie, like they actually gave 50 Cent an okay amount to do. He probably didn't like shine the brightest as far as the rest of the cast, but he did stuff. They like used one of his songs on the fucking forklift trap. First of all, and second of all, like he had like one badass kill where he was like fucking upside down. Like you even saw it a little bit where fucking yeah, this whole scene right here, like this is probably his most badass scene in the movie. And also him being on this fucking oh okay. So I will say, like, this effect right here, like him being on the mounted machine gun, like the fact that he got to use this, fucking awesome. And actually there was one scene where it probably wasn't him, it might have been a stunt double, but his character got to do a really badass fucking thing. And I was just kind of like, you know, if 50 Cent actually fucking did that, that would have been amazing. But people will definitely shit on this green screen shot right here because this definitely is like probably the most fake looking shot in the movie. But it's not like so like fucking like, oh Jesus, everything is fucking, my life is ruined because I saw this shot. It's just kind of like, yeah, they probably could have cooked that shot a little better. They probably could have composited that a little better. But it's like a split second, so they clearly didn't prioritize that. So it's like, oh fucking no, right?
Cent fucking sleepwalks his way through the movie looking like he's got no clue what he's supposed to be doing or why.
He absolutely has a clue of what he's doing. Okay, and he wasn't sleepwalking. I will say this though, when it comes to the way that 50 Cent like talks, he does kind of have like a strange like mumbly delivery. Like I think it's like how he like shapes his mouth or something. Like I, you know, when it comes to like how all these action stars talk, like they all got something like that. Like I mean, Sylvester Stallone is like infamous for that, right? Yeah, and that's because like the right side of his face, I think, or the left side, like it has, you know, either nerve damage or like a lack of nerves to where like he doesn't have control of that part of his face. So that's why he talks like that, right? Like 50 Cent, either A, he has something similar to that, or B, it has something to do with him being fucking shot, multiple times because he used to be like fucking hood gangsta shit. I mean, he's fucking 50 Cent. Do you know who he is? Jesus, give him a fucking break. And also, um, it's very clear that like he's not an actor. Like he's more of a rapper than an actor. And like I think he's been in multiple movies. Um, like let me think here. IMDb and 50 Cent. 50 Cent. Yep. Right. So. Let's look at his like just film roles, right? Um, upcoming. Okay. So he's got 3 movies that he's going to be in soon. Expendables 4, of course. These are music videos, so that doesn't count. Power Book 2. Okay, I don't know what that is. TV series. Okay, so he's done some TV stuff. All right. Oh, Escape Plan. So that was another Sylvester Stallone action movie. Let's see. Because I'm trying to find like Spy. What was this movie? Oh, he was in this movie? I didn't fucking know that. Huh, weird. Um, like he plays himself, I guess. So that's funny. It's like, yeah, just be yourself. Yeah, okay. So he's constantly in these movies called Escape Plan with Sylvester Stallone. So all right. Oh, The Frozen Ground. I didn't know he was in that. Yeah. So he's been in other movies. All right. Now, like, because when it comes to actors that are, like, if acting's not their primary thing, right? You got like The Rock, for example, who was like a wrestler first and then became an actor, right? Then you got like 50 Cent, who was a rapper first and then became an actor, so on and so forth. And, you know, they probably didn't get formal acting training. They're probably more the type of actors where it's just kind of like, hey, we just want you to come in and like be yourself, more or less, in our little thing. It's just like, hell yeah, let's do it. And, for the most part, that's fine. Like, you can more or less get away with that, especially in a movie like this. Because just like, and then 50 Cent shows up and we give him a gun. Like, you don't need him to be fucking Shakespeare. And I've had a lot, you know, in one of the other videos that I'm going to be looking at too, like, I've seen other people like really shit on like just how all these actors enunciate their dialogue, where it's just kind of like, oh, I need subtitles to hear all that. And it's just kind of like, bud, I heard the movie loud and clear, okay? Like, I didn't miss any dialogue as far as like, oh, I didn't hear that. Because trust me, with the way that these guys talk, you could very easily do that. But nope, I think as far as audio is concerned, I had no issues personally. So, maybe if you are, like, get your ears checked, okay?
Absolutely no chemistry with the rest of the cast. The script gives him nothing meaningful to do, and most of the time he feels like a complete fifth wheel. Megan
Totally
Fox
not.
is also here as the world's least convincing special forces operative. She can't fight or move to any real degree. She's got no gravitas or authority when she's supposed to be leading the team, and most of the time she just looks bored and completely spaced out. I mean,
Wow. Wow. Way too fucking harsh, dude. She did better than you're giving her credit for. Like, again, she wasn't like fucking perfect, but man, I had fun with her. Like, this, if anything, she was her best in this movie. Okay, now, to be quite frank, like, in order for her to be like, the type of actor that, like, were to really surprise everybody, she'd have to do something along the lines of like Dune or something, right? Like, where it's just like, oh, Denis Villeneuve or Scorsese or somebody's gonna take her on and actually make her act a damn, like pull an Adam Sandler with Paul Thomas Anderson, right? Okay, like, that's not Megan Fox, okay? And she doesn't necessarily need to be that. But as far as like what she's been doing lately, like, I think she at least has an upward trajectory as far as like making better movies than what she started off with, like the Transformers movies, right? Like, I mean, Transformers 2, my god, what a fucking travesty that one is. Um, so going from that to this is like a pretty awesome, you know, like she actually kicks ass in this movie compared to that, right? Where it's like, you know, the fucking Transformers movie, she was fucking useless. Like just ran around, screamed at Shia LaBeouf, right? So as far as my frame of reference there, that automatically makes it better in my opinion. As far as your ridiculously high standards, you could fuck off with that and you can stop shitting on Megan Fox, all right? Like, you know, if anything, she should just come over to where you're at and kick you in the fucking balls and smash your drink over your head. How about that? I would love to see Megan Fox do that.
Ronda Rousey wasn't exactly winning any Oscars in the previous movie either, but at least she actually knew how to fight, so you could buy into her action sequences. Really, I can
It only knew how to fight? What are you talking about? Ooh. Mardark777 what? Hi. Smiley face. Hello. I haven't seen you in these parts before, stranger. Welcome in. I am trying my damnedest to defend the new Expendables 4 movie that came out because I fucking loved it and apparently everybody else hates it, quote unquote. And I'm going to get into a lot of this bullshit rhetoric as time goes on, so if that sounds good to you, feel free to stick around and enjoy my rantings. Sound good? Anyway, so currently he's shitting on Megan Fox in the movie, which Megan Fox is in the movie if you don't know. And God, stop shitting on her. She doesn't deserve it. Fuck you, dude. Critical drinker, eat shit.
can only think of 2 reasons why Megan was cast in this film, and to be fair, the director makes good use of them at least.
You misogynistic asshole. Don't get me wrong, she has a nice rack, but dude, for you to just shit on her, like all the fucking hard work that she put into this movie to try and appease the fact that, like, you know, it's like she actually at least tried to fight convincingly. She tried to lead the team. She tried to have chemistry with, you know, everybody in the cast, and it worked for me. It didn't work for you. And if you just said that you just weren't a fan of what she did, that would be one thing. But for you to not only go to that degree, but then to just be like, oh, I could think of 2 reasons why, you know, I'm glad I disliked this video. Fuck you. Like, you know, you can, again, I hope Megan Fox, like, you know, just, if anything, I hope Megan Fox like sees this somehow, because like I'm defending you, Megan. You're fucking awesome in this movie, in my personal opinion. So the fact that the critical drinker said this about you, like, hey, you want to go fucking teach him a lesson together? I think he's asking for it. Like we don't even have to beat him up. It's just a matter of just like, you know, hey, so we heard you don't like Megan Fox that much. Well, here she is. Megan, do what you will. You know, I would love to see that. So anyway.
The only guy who actually seems to be enjoying himself is Jacob Scipio, as the son of Antonio Banderas' character from the previous film. He's a dead ringer for the guy and even has his voice and mannerisms down to a T. His scenes are probably the only time in the film when I was actually enjoying myself, because he clearly was too. Stallone.
Well, you know, it's funny that you say that because I agree with that assessment. I did like this new guy. And all those points are true. So why'd you only like that guy and not everybody else? That blows my mind. Like, trust me, everybody else was having as much fun as him. I don't know what the fuck you were smoking. If anything, one other thing about that character, he makes like the most like intentionally like dark and offensive and like perverted jokes in the movie. So with his sense of humor, he's probably like, oh yeah, this guy, I relate to him. And then, oh, Megan Fox, she has boobies. Ah, drink. You're not a film critic. You're not. What you are, you're just a guy that's just making jokes about movies. Take your opinions and shove it.
Originally wasn't even supposed to be in this movie, so the script had to be reworked on the fly to include him, and holy shit, you can really tell how awkwardly his scenes were cut in. It's like the writers had to come up with a solution in the space of a single afternoon, and the best they could do was, let's say he disappears in the first act, but then he comes back at the end because he faked his own death.
I think I can smell. Shite.
Yeah,
Wait a second. Japan could not find an empty panda emoji? Question mark? So like Japan pan? Is that the joke you're trying to make? Interesting. uh, so like you just got here, Mr. Mardark or Miss Mardark, you know, assuming gender. uh, so like I'm just not sure what the context of that is. So bear with me. Um, by the way, like that whole last part was, you know, kind of like talking about like spoilery parts of the plot, and you know, just in my opinion, he was trying to shit on it, and I'm just kind of like, you know what? I liked it. Okay, I don't know what all your guys' problem with is, and a lot of these people are just kind of like, oh, when it comes to these plots, I saw the plot twist coming from 10 miles away, and just kind of like, what the people keep saying this bullshit over and over and over again. Like all these critics say this shit, like, oh, I saw it coming a mile away, blah blah blah. And it's just kind of like, yep, nothing surprises you anymore, nothing pleases you anymore because you've apparently seen every fucking movie, so you're just constantly analyzing throughout the movie, like, you know, what's gonna happen, what are these people doing, and it's just kind of like, can't you just like sit back and just have fun and not like, you know, fucking criticize every little freaking bit in the movie? Oh no, you can't, because that being a critic's your job. Oh, you can't have fun watching movies anymore, you poor thing. Oh. Oh, hidden word is interesting, right? Um, buddy, what are you talking about? Um, like we're talking about the movie still, right? Because I'm talking about Expendables. You're kind of making like random, uh, you know, I don't know if they're jokes, observations. I'm just, no offense, I'm just confused, man. I hope you're enjoying yourself. Anyway.
yeah, sure, okay. Fucking genius stuff right there. With Stallone MIA, the bulk of the work has to fall on Jason Statham, who's not.
Oh. Oh. We're gonna take a quick ad break. Yeah, yeah. Oh god, I love this freeze face of this face right here. That's great. Yeah. Just gotta wait for a minute so I could keep doing my ranting. God damn it, fucking Twitch with your ads. Oh, you're fucking killing me with this shit. Like, it's too much. It's too much, and you don't give me enough warning. Like, if you gave me warning, like you gave me like 10-second warning, it's like, oh, ad's coming up. Then I'd be like, oh, get an ad break. Then I'd be just fine with it. If you don't give me that, at least cable TV got a fucking warning. Go to commercial and but. Fucking A, Twitch. You're supposed to be a TV service. Act like a TV service. For fuck's sake. Okay, anyways. Ooh, oh, also, I could use this moment to, yeah. Mm-hmm. Put that deal. Put that deal. And then, put that deal. And, oh, we're back already, huh? Well, that's nice, I guess. Yeah. Well, you know, I'm doing this thing where I'm actually trying to like, you know, um, promote my stream so that, you know, people can actually come watch it if they, you know, aren't working or something. And it's just like, you know, hey, it's in Austin. He's live. Yay. And you know, most people are happy to see me, you know. But you know, it's hard, man. It's hard. It's a hard knock life for us. It's a hard knock life for us. I mean, I didn't expect this to expect to stream this on a Wednesday morning, but you know what? Inspiration struck, so I had to. All right, this is almost done. Let's finish this off because it's taking too long.
normally pretty reliable as a leading man, but just like everyone else, he comes across as bored and checked out for most of the film. He can still hold
Nope.
his own in the fight scenes, but even he struggles to
Yep.
make anything out of the absolutely atrocious dialogue he has to work with. All of these
Nope.
various problems add up.
Atrocious dialogue. It's not even close to atrocious. It's campy, fun dialogue. Okay, there was nothing that's like The Room. Okay, for fuck's sake, like it was just basic action movie standard dialogue for the most part, and there was plenty of fun to be had if you ask me. If you ask me, like if anything, I'd force y'all to watch this movie again, and I would tell you it's just like this is why this is funny and this is why you suck, right? Like I would gladly do that to these people because fuck them.
To a movie that's completely outlived its own premise. Most of
Nope.
the big stars that formed the backbone of the series have drifted away now, and the ones that did bother to show up are really just phoning it in for an easy payday. The action
Nope.
sequences that used to be a giant middle finger to the soulless CGI excesses of modern films have devolved into the very thing they swore to destroy, lifeless and flaccid and completely uninvolving. And the amateur hour script fails to provide the glorious send-off or even the definitive conclusion that the series deserved. It's nothing but an embarrassing wet fart of a movie that everyone involved with probably wants to forget as soon as possible, including me. And as it happens,
Bitch, not only am I gonna not forget this movie, I'm gonna buy it on 4K and I'm gonna fly all the way to where the fuck you live and I'm gonna force you to watch it Clockwork Orange style until you die from it. How about that? Like, I'll make sure you're stuck in there for years. So it's just kind of like, oh, like I have to watch this movie for the rest of my life. It's just like, yeah, pretty much. For how old are you? It's like, oh, I'm like 32. It's just like, oh yeah, well, 32. Yeah, so about 75 years. Yeah, you're gonna love it. Never forget.
I know just the thing. Anyway,
Alcoholism is fucking funny, except it's not. I'm so glad I've been sober for like what, a year and 9 months at this point. Like I pretty much quit drinking like January 2022. Be sober, idiot. You'll appreciate things better. You'll stop being less of a cynical jackass, and you won't fucking end up on like the far right, like being sucked off by fucking Russell Brand and fucking Tucker Carlson and all those fucking dingoes. Okay, because funny thing about Critical Drinker, like he was on one of those shows, and he's just like, "Oh, I can't believe I'm on one of these shows. I never thought it would be." It's just kind of like, buddy, you don't want to be in that company. I don't know what you're thinking, dude.
that's all I've got for today. Go away now.
I will go away now. Thank you. Like, man, that all just like broke my heart. Like it was so funny. Like in the beginning, like he showed very clear respect for the first three movies, but then he treated this movie like such a black sheep, which it's fucking not. Like I, like the way I'll rank these movies. By the way, for those that didn't catch the beginning, I rank the second one the best. Then I think the first one, and then the fourth one, and then the third. Now, here's the thing: the third one might be better on a rewatch, but as far as the fun that I had with this movie, like I liked it better than the third one. Like the third one I was just like I'm kind of done after this one. Like I think two had already peaked, as far as like what it was trying to do. But hey, like if anything, I thought this movie like tried to invoke the feel of the first movie, and totally worked pretty well with a scaled down cast, if you ask me. And of course, no mention of Tony Jaa being fucking awesome. No mention of fucking Iko Uwais of the Raid. No mention of the other girl in the movie who was fucking kick ass besides Megan Fox. Like, God, this review just totally skimmed over so much awesome shit that was in the movie. And then also Jason Statham gets to be a freaking bodyguard for a social media influencer on one scene, and that scene is a fucking beautiful. Like, like they're just totally skimming over this shit. Like they're so in love with the original movie, like the first couple of movies, and they're just not giving this one a chance because of the fact that, like, oh, it's been 10 years. Uh it's just like, that's the alcohol talking, dude. So fucking stop drinking and fuck off. The end. And now we got this guy named 3C Films, alright? So I already disliked your fucking thing because we're not even gonna watch the whole thing of this guy. I'm just gonna show you just a little bit.
So I just got back from watching Expendables 4. Literally, movie ended about an hour ago for me, and I am in disbelief of the atrocity I just witnessed on screen. This is not...
I mean, right off the bat, the fucking whiny, incessant, entitled tone of what he had to say about the movie right away. Instant red flag. My God, we got a super nerd here. Oh God, does this guy work at the comic book store? Uh-oh. Like, oh, he just gives off that vibe initially. I'm just kind of like, ugh, because I don't know this guy at all. I literally just am judging based off of this review. For all I know, his other reviews are good. Like, but he's jumping on this fucking bandwagon of, the worst movie of, and like, in fact, like Rotten Tomatoes, like a whole shit ton of critics have like been review bombing this fucking thing. And it's just like, no, it doesn't deserve that. Like, it's not the best movie ever, but it's fun. And it's like, I had a great time with it for what it was. And you all need to stop shitting on it for the reasons that you're shitting on it, because you're all just parroting a bunch of nonsense about just like bashing actors and just bashing all the fucking work that they did on this movie, to try and appease you. For fuck's sake. Like, be even glad that you even have 4 Expendable movies, let alone one of them. Like, for all we know, like, there could be a timeline where Sylvester Stallone, like, didn't even think to do the Expendables. Like, it could have been a whole other fucking, like, instead of an action movie collab, it's all like, oh, we're all just gonna get together for a science fiction movie, and we're all not gonna do any action, and we're just gonna stand around and, be on a starship like Star Trek. It's just kind of like, oh, why are we doing that? Like, think, like, you assholes have no idea how good we have it, right? It's like, for fuck's sake.
Not gonna be one of my typical reviews. I need to just regurgitate everything that this movie showed me so you can get an ounce of understanding of why I'm kind of pissed. So if you're someone who's waiting to watch Expendables and you just don't want it to be spoiled for you, I'm sure there's other reviews that can tell you just how bad it was without spoiling everything. But okay, the Expendable franchise. These are not the movies we go expecting to be masterpieces. We don't go...
Yes! And the fact that they aren't, like, both the Critical Drinker and this guy, they established this part. Like, we're not expecting Shakespeare. We're not expecting high art. What the fuck?
Go in thinking... this might be best movie of the year, y'all. Keep your hats on. And make sure they're one of those French hats. That's the only hat
That's called a beret. It's not that hard. One of those French hats. Buddy. Your jokes are not very... your jokes are very cute. In the bad way.
allowed in Expendable theater. Is that a French hat? I don't know where it originates from. So when they announced a 4th movie coming up, I thought, okay, let's give it a shot. Let's see what you got for us, knowing fully well it's gonna be a bad movie, but it'll be entertaining. I'll have fun. You're throwing mega...
I mean, that mentality's great, right? Like, maybe not necessarily expect a bad movie, but expect it's just like, well, I know what I'm getting into. It's the Expendables, right? So... just checking my email real quick. It's the Expendables. Like, you know what you're getting into, more or less. Right? So, yeah, he is establishing that. That's great.
Megan Fox in there. She's doing these sexy fight scenes with Jason Statham. Okay,
yes.
Let's see that. Sylvester Stallone, charismatic guy. He's always just a little bit of fun to watch either way. And then there's always them random cameos of assorted, well-known people that you would hope are old action stars, but 4th film in the franchise, we're now going to hip-hop artist 50 Cent. I do respect you, 50 Cent.
I take you to the candy shop.
And as of me filming this, it's a Sunday.
You better respect 50 Cent. All right. Now, I'm not a 50 Cent fanboy. That's not what I'm saying. But, the fact that it's just kind of like, hey, there's a reason why they cast him and not some other asshole. All right.
Night. So the movie came out a couple days ago, and I was hearing from all my other movie peeps out there, this film is terrible, that it is awful. It's possibly one of the worst movies of the year, and I was like,
You know what's really bad about shit like that? If you constantly are surrounded by that sort of negativity, like especially if you're in critic circles and like everybody just decides that a movie is bad, that's going to color your impression. Okay, you're gonna go in assuming that's bad, and then you're not gonna have fun with it because you're gonna be like trying to find out like, why is this movie bad? What the fuck? Like, why does everybody hate this movie? Right? That's not a way to live. Okay. All these critic guys, they need to, sort of reevaluate like their mentality on this stuff. And again, I will get to one guy who really like champions my new perspective on this stuff, because once he brought this to the forefront as far as like how all these critics approach these movies, I'm just kind of like, oh, you're so right. Oh, it fucking hurts. But I'm so glad you fucking said it, because now it's almost kind of like I took the fucking the red pill, and I'm just kind of like, I'm out of the matrix, and I'm just kind of like the matrix of film criticism. And exactly, it's just like a fucking flock of sheep, it's all like, oh, we all hate the movie, it's just like parrots, like, seagulls, hate, shit, and it's just like, oh, well, everybody's saying the movie's shit, what's going on? But like, he even established that it's just like, he had reasonable expectations. It's just like, oh, it's the Expendables, like, Sylvester Stallone, charismatic, Megan Fox looking sexy. So what happened?
weren't we kind of expecting it to be bad? What levels did they stoop down to a film you're already expecting to be meh turn out to be really, really bad? Well, let me just begin listing off for you. For one, where did the budget go for this movie? I'm not kidding. We need to get some accountants in the room of how this movie was made, because there is no way every cent and budget of this film went towards its set pieces and action scenes. I was befuddled and bamboozled into thinking this was a Hollywood production. The effects that go on in this movie, laughable.
What are you talking about, laughable effects? Okay, do you know the scope of all the stuff that happened in the movie and how you would pull that stuff off, whether you do it practically or with visual effects? Do you know? Do you know how that shit works? Like, as far as like your precious accountant goes, like, have you ever like, studied like how to properly like, do concept of, modeling, then you do rigging, and then you do, animation, then you do like compositing, environmental effects, and lighting, rendering, like that's like 7 steps that I laid out there. There's probably plenty more in between that I haven't even, scratched the surface of how difficult all that shit is to pull off for most normal people. So, you go to a digital art school like I went to in order to get trained to do at least one of those things, let alone all of them. If you know how to do all of those things by yourself, you're a god, okay? First of all. Second of all, like, all these major studios and stuff, that make these movies, and then when they outsource to these visual effects companies that keep going under most of the time because they don't know how to run a business of that kind of shit, sadly, you can imagine the conditions that these people are under when it comes to making these movies. And then the pandemic on top of that. Have some respect, for fuck's sake. If anything, you probably just don't know like the full technicals of it. So you're just taking all this at face value. And don't get me wrong, when it comes to this freeze frame I have right here, that's probably the worst effect of the movie as far as the green screen that I saw. And then there was some other cheesy stuff, like there's hold on, if it'll let me scroll properly. There's like some of the explosions and stuff. Most of the explosions I think were mostly practical. I think there was like just a couple of them that were CG, but for the most part the explosions were fine. There was some
towards it.
There was some of the blood and stuff that was, CGI and whatnot, and it's just like, okay, it's CGI blood. You're not going to use real blood, obviously. And, probably didn't look perfect because they went over the top with it, but it's over the top because they want to. Let them do it, okay? For fuck.
It's set pieces and action scenes. I was befuddled and bamboozled into thinking.
Right, and then there's like a couple of stunts. One of them involves Jason Statham on a bike, like getting some air and whatnot. That scene was just fun. Okay, it's over the top and silly. Like, don't take it seriously. What are you doing? And then there's a whole scene where like essentially Jason Statham becomes the fucking like Captain Phillips and pilots a giant fucking tanker. Um,
This was a Hollywood production. The into think went room of how this movie was made. No way every cent and budget of this film went towards its set pieces and action scenes. I was befuddled.
Yeah. So like,
Action scenes.
So like that helicopter that was on fire, right? CGI obviously because they don't want to fucking waste a full helicopter if they don't need to.
I was befuddled.
And then this whole tanker shit, like the maneuver that he does with this thing is just like, well, of course it's gonna be easier to do CGI, right? So, if they go like Christopher Nolan with it and like fucking pilot this tanker the way that Jason Statham does it, then fucking more power to him. Okay, so again, be nicer to the effects teams. Okay, like it doesn't look perfect, but we are, I know that like when it comes to with the way that humans are able to watch movies, we kind of have the innate sense to be able to detect the uncanny valley, which is like when we detect if something is like fake or real and whatnot. And it's just like, everybody needs to just shut the fuck up and remember that's just a goddamn movie. Okay? Like, have fun with it. You don't need to have everything be super fucking real all the fucking time. Like, let CGI go nuts sometimes. Let it. Like, this movie, I was not expecting great CGI, so I was just kind of like, yeah, like, it didn't look perfect, but it was fun enough for me. For fuck's sake.
And bamboozled into thinking this was a Hollywood production. The effects that go on in this movie, laughable, insane. And I'm not even talking about on the levels of like the Flash movie or something like that. Where,
if anything, the Flash, I haven't seen the Flash movie yet, but the visual effects in this movie were like way more like high concept and bonkers than the Expendables. And also way more money was thrown at this one. And if anything, from what I've seen from the Flash's CGI looks substantially worse than the Expendables. If anything, the Expendables only has like some moments that it's just like, okay, that looks fake. But a lot of the action is over the top, so you could get over it just fine. And it's like, it's quick, whatever. But with the Flash, it's way more in your face and way more over the top to the point where you're just kind of like, what's even happening? So, if anything, the Flash gets way much worse of a vote, in my opinion, just based on the CGI of what I've seen of it. I haven't seen the actual movie. I want to, because if anything, I hear this movie is just fucking... If anything, why are people saying the Flash is the worst movie? Are they just saying, like, all the movies are bad and then, like, everything's the worst movie ever? Like, because if they're doing that, that's even worse, for fucking hell. Now, before I move on to, I also will say, as far as like the movies that I have seen this year, I've seen very few of them. But the ones that I have seen, I saw Super Mario and I saw Barbenheimer, like a Barbie and Oppenheimer. And Oppenheimer, like as far as effects, clearly the best looking movie out of everybody. It's Christopher fucking Nolan, of course. Like, no contest. And then the Barbie movie, like, there was plenty of stuff in that movie that looked fake as hell, but with the context of it, it was fucking Barbie. Like, it was supposed to look like that. They did it on purpose, and it worked. Right? So, man, I kind of want to see this review on Barbie. It's just like, oh, the fucking graphics were the worst. It didn't look real at all. It's like, it's fucking Barbie, you moron. Like, wow. But I don't know. I don't know if he thinks that. So that could be totally wrong on that.
Where you can see, yeah, that effect right there probably cost $1 million. Doesn't look great, but yet.
Oh yeah, this whole baby scene is a whole pile of what the fuck. Like, yeah.
No, it cost $1 million. Expendables 4 has sets, effects, green screens that look like they belong to corn sets, okay? Johnny Sins must have just got done on that battlefield, and then it was the Expendables' turn, okay? They signed...
No. The way higher quality than fucking Johnny Sins corn hub sets. You're a dick. Okay, I think I've said enough for now. Okay. Um, so, also another thing to keep in mind, I'm gonna end the stream here in a little bit because I just wanted to get my thoughts out here on a stream for now. I have some appointments to get to, but here is the box office for the for the last weekend, and this is when the Expendables 4 came out. Now, The Nun 2, which has already been out for a while, has made $8.5 million, and then Expendables 4 made $8 million. It opened in second place. I'm sorry, worst movie of 2023. Worst movie, like, it just came out, first of all, and second of all, people are also saying, like, worst visual effects, worst films I've ever seen in 32 minutes. What the fuck? Worst movie in the franchise. Like, Jesus, people are just being such dickheads. I can't believe it. And, like, one of the other ones I saw was just like, oh, it's bombing at the box office. And I'm just kind of like, now, I'm sure the budget of the movie was fairly high. Let's look at it, right? The Expendables 4. Well, Expendables. I want to look at the Wikipedia for it, if I can. Yep, there it is. Okay, so the budget. Wait. Okay, so the budget was $100 million, and then the box office was $30 million. Okay, now keep this in mind. This is only the first weekend. It just came out. Now, technically, if somehow the stars aligned and, people were just kind of like, you know what, I want to go see Expendables 4 anyway. I know people have been saying it's really bad, but, I just want to see it because it looks fun. That could happen in the next couple weeks, and they could still, make a bit more money. Like, they won't get their budget back, but they could still make some more money as far as, like, theaters are concerned. But then it could go to this thing called streaming, where, like, fans of the Expendables franchise that want to buy it or like, just stream it and, like, watch it with their friends all drunk and shit, like, they can still do that, and then they'll still make money off of that too. Like, in case you guys forget, like, there are some times where movies do fucking terrible in the movie theaters, but then they become fucking amazing classic movies that people fucking adore. Any of you idiots heard of Fight Club? Ring any bells? I mean, that movie fucking bombed at the box office, and people fucking like, yeah. But then, like, everybody loves it now. So for all I know, people could eventually come back to this movie and be all like, oh man, we were too hard on this movie. I would hope that would happen, because if anything, I feel like that's what's happening now. People are being the critics are fucking bombing this fucking thing for no good reason. So, if you ask me, and I would like to think that, when it comes to, I guess, my logic on all this sort of stuff, I like to think I'm at least coming from a place of love, where, hey, I love movies. I'm a fan of these franchises and whatnot. And, like, I'll call out a bad movie when I see it. But, like, when I see people calling a movie that I like bad, I'm just kind of like, did we watch the same movie? Like, what the fuck? Oh, by the way, to end out, I want to give a shout out to Chris Stuckman reviewing. Bashing movies. Yeah. Okay, so Chris Stuckman, right? He has been around for a long time as a movie reviewer. And essentially, like, one of the things that he used to do was really play into this trend of movie reviews where he would, like, absolutely go fucking ham on movies that he thought were really, really bad. Like, the worst movies of 2017, like the, F movies and stuff like that. And Hilariosity. He's known for that, where it's just like movies that are like such atrocities that they're hilarious. So love this guy to death. Big shout out to him. Okay. And I'm trying to find the particular video where he went into detail about like just his sort of change of focus on the channel, because it's just kind of like, ugh, I'm so proud of him like when he did that, because just kind of like, dude. Oh, and by the way, he's making a movie himself, and it's called Shelby Oaks. It's supposed to be a horror movie. He's almost done with it, with the visual effects, I think, and then once that's done, they'll figure out when to release it and stuff, I guess. So good for him. Let's see. So I'm trying to think of where I would find if he put it in a playlist somewhere. If not, I'll gladly take the time to look for it, because it's worth it. It really is. Ooh, and there's actually some reviews that I'm interested in watching a little later. Yeah, so like, Barbenheimer. I'm gonna have so much fun talking about Barbenheimer, because that was just that was like the best part of the year for me, because that was on my birthday, by the way. Amazing. Like, I got Barbie for my birthday, and I saw it with my girlfriend, so fuck yeah. Best date movie ever. Yep, so like updates on his movie he's making, amazing. I feel like it was last year that he posted this video that I'm talking about. And I reviewed some of these movies too. Like, I reviewed Plane. Plane was one of my first Austin movies. Actually, Knock at the Cabin right here. That was my first movie review that I did. It's on my YouTube, so I'll show that off afterwards. Because if anything, this is gonna go into that. Oh, ooh! I didn't even realize these podcasts. Oh, ad break. Perfect. This gives you time to look for this thing. Hmm. No, I don't think that's it. Yeah, roll million. Yep. No, it's not that. Ooh. Ooh, is it that? I'll open that one just in case. Oh, that's wholesome. Yeah, dang it. Still haven't found it. And the ad's done. Ooh. Is it this one? Moving forward. That sounds right. Oh, by the way, he has a 2.4 million subscribers, so good on you, dude. He's been doing this for at least a decade, I think. So yeah, amazing. And I'm gonna put this movie reviews. Yeah.
I want to do more stuff like that.
Hey.
Or if I see movies on VH. What is going on,
Yeah. So kinds of videos this channel will feature going forward. Exciting news for the future. I don't necessarily know if I want to show this entire thing. It's like 20 minutes, but as long as I find like him making the point that I want to make as far as movies go, and how like critics in general should look at movies, like Chris Stuckman, like this is the way. Also, why do I have the bell? No, ring that bell. Ding 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 ding. Love Chris. All right. Anyway, let's go. And then I'll do this and I'll end the stream.
Everybody. So this is a new background. It's not that new. It's very similar to the one that I've been shooting in, but I wanted to shoot in a new space. I've been working on this background. 10,000 copies of Behind Enemy Lines. They're just going
Okay, so he's talking about like his background setup and stuff, so it's not that.
2009. Believe it or not, there were only like 5 people on the platform talking about movies at the time, which is insane to even
2009.
think about. And so nobody
He came
really
at the right
knew
time.
what the platform could be at that time. It was very much so in its infancy still. And people just didn't really understand that you could actually have a viable career creating content on this platform. But
Ding, ding,
filmmaking
ding, ding,
was
ding.
always my priority. And I think YouTube kind of caged the beast for a while because I always wanted to make films and I wanted to pursue that career. But for a few years there, I kind of was in a lull state. I just let YouTube be what it was. I talked about movies every few weeks, enjoyed it, met filmmakers. So part of me felt like I was kind of in that world and it was allowing me to hush those filmmaking urges that I've always had. But eventually they started resurfacing considerably when I was in my late 20s and I saw people that I knew and friends who were really working hard to get scripts made and just writing constantly. And I had a major priority shift.
Which is really fucking cool. Like, just to think about that, where it's just, I've been reviewing movies since 2009, but this isn't my dream. My dream is actually making the movies. And you know what? He finally had that epiphany and he decided to go for it. And he's getting a movie made. Fucking proud of this guy. I will go see Shelby Oaks when it comes out in the theater, my friend. Well, I don't know you, but I would absolutely be friends with you if I met you. So compared to these other critics, I'm gonna bash and stuff later on.
For a long time, I had very specific goals in regards to this channel. Actually, at some point, I would be able to direct something, whether and actually get and learning and getting better.
Yeah. So directing a movie, great. I'm trying to get to the part where he actually talks about like how he wants to not do harsh movie reviews anymore. So I'm trying to find that.
Better. Sharing my work with others. You can't just blind email people. You can show them that they can read that you wrote. Was so much harder than I ever to wrap my head around the idea of telling someone else my shit is good and I have problems with this and just really let them know how shitty they did. And movies.
Ooh. I think this is it. I think this is it.
Not so great movie films as a kid, and I knew that. I know that for some people that's going to be a disappointment. And as far as movie reviews, I'm still going to talk about movies. What I'm not going to do anymore is trash filmmakers. And I know that for some people that's going to be a disappointment. And I also know that that will probably cost me some views. But I just don't enjoy it anymore. I don't enjoy talking negatively about film. It was hard to make amateur films as a kid, and I knew that. But it's very difficult to make them professionally as an adult as well. And meeting filmmakers, talking to them at festivals, going onto their sets, really seeing how much work goes into even your average, not so great movie. I just don't feel like doing that anymore. I don't want to talk negatively about filmmakers. I don't want to trash filmmakers.
I don't
either. It would be strange for me to be making movies and also shitting on other filmmakers. Also, there's plenty of that on this platform already.
Yes,
there are
too
so
much.
many channels dedicated to talking about bad films and negativity about movies. There's no shortage of that. When you see a bad film sometimes, if you're a film critic, and I can tell you this from experience, you get kind of excited because you realize, oh, like, I could really make a good review of this, and I could really talk about all the problems with this and just really let them know how shitty they did. I find no joy in that anymore.
Good, because if anything, the fact that you pointed that out, like, I had fun pointing out in the Critical Drinker's response to a movie that I enjoyed that was a big budget movie that, you know, may not necessarily have looked like $100 million all the way, but looked close enough to it with all the crazy shit they did to where I had fucking fun with it. So god damn it. You know, I'm trying to go on the anti-bash train. It's just like, no, everybody go see the movie. I will be way more proud if somehow I was able to totally shift the tide of, like, you know, hey, fuck all these other hater reviewers. Go see Expendables. It was amazing. And then all of a sudden they got like $8 more million in box office because of that. And I'm just kind of like, yo, I did that. I made you more money. Like that's a pipe dream, but hey, you never fucking know when it comes to like influencers, right? But oh god, what an unfortunate freeze frame right there. But see, like, I love this mentality so much. I just had to at least get this recorded so that you guys know like where I'm coming from now when it comes to like just my approach to movies. Like, you would be hard pressed to get me to like watch a movie and like me be angry at watching it. Like, there are some of them out there, but you know, more often than not, like, I'm gonna have fun with them, even if they're bad movies. Like, the bad movies, I'll laugh my ass off with them more often than not. Like, ugh. I can think of some bad movies that are like that bad, but it's just kind of like, more often than not, I'm gonna have fun with them. So, okay, I'm gonna finish this up and then we're gonna call it.
Just don't. A few years back, I stopped doing my worst of the year videos for that same reason. And ever since then, I've had a tough time enjoying negativity about film because I love film so much and I want to be a champion for film.
Yes.
So I am going to distance myself from film criticism and embrace film appreciation.
Awesome.
So examples of videos I've made before that are like the videos I would like to make in the future. Most recently, my video on The Sandlot, how The Sandlot shaped my childhood. I loved making that video.
Yeah.
I want to make more videos like that. Or for instance, my video about the empty.
Now, okay, so I made my point. You know, let's say, hey, let's appreciate film, not bash it. You know, end of story. Like, Expendables 4, I appreciated it for what it is. All these other assholes are not appreciative, entitled douchebags that are following the whole bashing train because, you know, it's just like, oh, we're gonna get clicks off of this because just like, oh, you know, who's the target of the day? Unicorn poop. So I don't know. Anyways, I'll talk more extensively about this. I'll probably do another stream of this, and then I'll probably edit this down for YouTube at some point. You know, YouTube, Austin freaking Brown. Check my links down below. But Austin freaking Brown, I'm pretty easy to find, especially on YouTube and Twitch. So you follow my other socials too. Yeah, we're gonna end. So, you know, thanks for indulging me. The couple people who did. For now, don't worry, we'll talk more movies soon. Right. Anyways, yeah, I got an appointment to go to, so I gotta go do that. So, all right, thanks for indulging me, and you guys have a great day. Thank you.